Have you ever considered why some conversations make you feel good while others don't? What if staying calm and understanding better isn't about what we talk about, but what we choose not to say? Can following Buddhist principles in our daily conversations lead to happier lives? Let's begin our journey into Buddhism today and explore how our words, or lack thereof, can lead us to peace and understanding. We'll focus on the concept of right speech from Buddhism, which emphasizes speaking in ways that promote peace, understanding, and kindness. In our busy world where every word can be heard by everyone, it's crucial to think about how we communicate. Our words not only affect our relationships with others, but also impact our thoughts and emotions. We'll discuss why it's best to avoid certain topics in our conversations, drawing inspiration from Buddhist teachings. By refraining from discussing specific matters, we can find more peace, personal growth, and a better understanding of ourselves and others. This isn't just about learning what not to say. It's about discovering how silence at the right times and thoughtful speech can be truly wise. We encourage you to explore these ideas further to see how changing the way you communicate can lead to positive changes in your life. 1. Avoid boasting about your achievements. In this exploration of Buddhist wisdom, we'll discuss why it's wise not to brag about our successes. While it's common for people to share their achievements, Buddhism encourages a different perspective. Buddhism emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings. When we achieve something, it's not just due to our efforts alone. Others have often supported us. Boasting overlooks their contributions. Buddhism teaches humility, not suppressing our happiness, but recognizing the bigger picture. A Buddhist story illustrates this. A monk quietly accomplished great deeds without boasting. He believed genuine achievements don't need self-promotion. He found inner strength and contentment. In everyday life, we can apply this by acknowledging others' help when we succeed. Expressing gratitude strengthens bonds and enhances our satisfaction. Shift from, "I did this," to "we did this." Buddha stressed kindness and a generous heart. When discussing achievements, do so with gratitude for all who played a role. This enriches our stories and cultivates humility. Share your successes, but do it in a way that honors the contributions of others. It adds depth to our narratives and brings more joy to our lives. Stick with us to learn more about how practicing humility can benefit us. 2. Avoid discussing unresolved challenges. In this part of our journey through Buddhist wisdom, we'll explore why it's wise not to dwell on unresolved problems. Buddhism teaches that life is ever-changing and urges us to accept the present. Constantly discussing unresolved challenges can increase anxiety and future worry. Instead, Buddhism advises focusing on what we can do now. This keeps us calm and reduces stress. Rather than discussing problems endlessly, we can find peace in the present moment. It doesn't mean ignoring issues, but concentrating on gradual improvements. This approach empowers us. Buddha emphasized finding peace in the present, accepting current circumstances. In daily life, accepting challenges and taking small steps to improve them reduces stress. As we explore more Buddhist teachings, remember to stay tuned. You'll learn how staying calm and focused can enhance your life. If you find these ideas helpful, please like and subscribe. Next, we'll delve into another important Buddhist teaching. 3. Refrain from boasting about good deeds. Good deeds in our journey through Buddhist wisdom, we now come to a very special idea: keeping our good deeds to ourselves. It might sound a bit unusual today. We often see people sharing what good they have done on social media or with friends. But Buddhism teaches us something different. Something really kind when we do something nice, like helping someone out. It feels good to let others know. We might think it shows we kind people. But there's something even more special about doing good things quietly. It's about helping just because we want to make things better, not because we want others to see us as good this way. The good deed becomes even more meaningful. Buddhism really values doing good things without looking for a reward. It's like giving a gift and not waiting for a thank you. This way of doing things changes why we help it. Stops being about getting praise and starts being about spreading kindness, just because it's a good thing to do. Think about a time when you did something nice for someone without telling anyone. Keeping this act of kindness a secret gives you a unique kind of happiness. It's like having a special secret that only you and the universe know. This reminds us that the best part of helping is the helping itself, not the thank yous that might come later. Buddha said something really nice about this. Do good things again and again, and you'll be filled with joy. He meant that the real joy comes from the act of giving, not from what we get back for it. We can try this in our daily life. We can look for chances to help others without making a big deal about it. Maybe it's doing something kind for a neighbor or helping someone we don't know. The important thing is not to expect a reward or even a good job from others. Of course, it's still nice to say thank you when someone else does something kind. But when we're the ones doing good, there's something really beautiful about keeping it quiet. As we keep exploring these ideas, it's important to watch this video to the end. You'll learn a lot about how these teachings can make life better. Next, we'll look at another important Buddhist teaching that can change how we see and do things in life. Avoid discussing resentment in our journey through Buddhist teachings. We now come across a very important idea, why it's better not to talk too much about our bad feelings towards others, known as resentment. It's something we all face. Sometimes people upset us and we hold on to those feelings. But Buddhism offers a different way, a way that brings more peace to our lives. When we keep talking about the things that upset us, it's like going through those bad times again and again. This doesn't just make us feel down. It can also spread those unhappy feelings to others. Buddhism teaches us that hanging on to these negative feelings doesn't help, but keeps us looking back at unhappy times instead of enjoying what's happening now. Buddhism is all about forgiveness and moving on. This doesn't mean forgetting or saying that everything was fine. It's about not letting those bad feelings control us. When we let go of our grudges, we make space for happier thoughts and feelings. Imagine a time when you were really mad at someone. Maybe you talked about it a lot. Did talking help, or did it keep the anger alive? Buddhism suggests trying something else. Letting go of those feelings, this is a big step towards feeling better. Inside, we can try this in our day-to-day life when we're upset. Instead of focusing on the hurt, we can try to understand what happened and find ways to get past it. It's a journey and it takes time. But little by little, we can learn to leave those hard feelings behind. Buddha had a wise way of putting this. He said that being angry is like holding a hot coal to throw at someone else. We are the ones who get burned. This tells us that staying mad hurts us more than anyone else. It's a strong reminder to let go for our own good. How do we start to let go? It starts with trying to see things from the other person's point of view. But we also need to be kind to ourselves, allowing ourselves time to heal. It's about being gentle with ourselves and others. Letting go of being mad doesn't mean we let people walk over us. It means we stop letting those bad past experiences control how we feel. Now we take back our power by choosing to be peaceful and understanding, not angry and hurt. As we keep going through these ideas, it's really important to watch this video to the end. You'll learn a lot about how letting go of being mad can really change your life. And if you're finding these tips helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to our channel. Your support means we can keep bringing you helpful lessons like this one. Coming up next, we'll look into another helpful lesson from Buddhism that can change the way we see and do things in our lives. 5. Keep 5. Keep your deepest dreams private. Your deepest dreams private. In our fascinating journey through Buddhist teachings, we come across a very thoughtful idea. It's often best to keep our biggest dreams and goals just to ourselves. This might seem a bit different, as especially when many of us are used to sharing everything. But this idea has a lot of wisdom in it. Buddhism talks a lot about looking inside ourselves and understanding our own path. Our big dreams, those really important things we want in life, are very special. They're like tiny seeds we plant inside our minds. Just like seeds need the right care to grow, our dreams need a safe space. A space where they're not affected by what others think or say. When we tell everyone about our deepest dreams, We open them up to all kinds of reactions. Not all reactions are helpful. Sometimes people might not believe in our dreams, or they might tell us what they think we should do, even if it doesn't feel right for us. This can make us start doubting our dreams, or make us think we should change them. Keeping our dreams to ourselves keeps them safe and lets us stay true to what we really want. Buddhism also shows us the strength in quiet goals when we keep our dreams in our heart. It's like making a silent promise to ourselves. It's not about hiding our dreams. It's about keeping them pure and true by keeping our dreams private. We learn to rely on our Sylvest. We look inside for the push we need. Not outside. This helps us grow stronger in who we are and what we want without worrying about what others think. Thinking about our dreams quickly also helps us see them clearer without other people's opinions. Making noise, we can hear our own thoughts better. We understand what we really want and what we need to do to make it happen. Another beautiful part of this teaching is about the joy of our own journey. When we keep our dreams to ourselves, every little step towards them becomes a secret why. These quiet wins feel really good. They remind us that working towards our dreams is just as important as reaching them. Buddhism reminds us too that life changes, and so can our dreams. Keeping our dreams private means we're okay with them. Changing, we're ready to adapt. This flexibility is a big strength, so as we move forward, think about your own dreams. Keep them close to your heart and let them guide you. And remember, watch this video to the end here on to get the full picture of how these ideas can make life richer coming up. We'll explore more amazing Buddhist teachings that can change the way we see the world and ourselves. 6. Don't talk about your 6. Don't talk about your future plans in detail. Future plans in detail in this part of our exploration into Buddhist wisdom. We find a really interesting idea. It's often a good choice not to talk too much about our big plans for the future. This might feel a bit strange in today's world where we're used to sharing everything, but there's a good reason behind this way of thinking. Buddhism shows us that life is always changing. It says that the future can't be predicted perfectly. Sometimes making really detailed plans might not work out like we hope. When we keep our future plans a bit more private, we allow ourselves to go with the flow of life. This means we're ready to change and adapt. When we need to, talking about all our plans can sometimes make us feel stuck. We might feel like we have to do what we said, even if we later feel it's not right. Also, sharing too much can make us worry, especially if we start doubting if we can really do what we planned. Keeping our plans to ourselves lets us be more flexible and change them without worrying about what others will think. Buddhism also tells Zeus how important it is to live in the here and now. If we're always thinking about detailed plans for the future, we might miss out on good things happening right now. It's about balancing planning for what's ahead with enjoying what's happening today. Let's think about a time when you had a big plan for what's coming next. Did telling lots of people about it make it easier, or did it feel like more pressure? Buddhism suggests that sometimes there's a kind of calm in keeping our plans to ourselves and just letting things happen as they may. This doesn't mean we shouldn't have goals or think about the future. It just means we keep our plans ready for change. We can still work towards what we want, but we do it in a way that lets us be open to surprises and changes in life. Buddha once said something really wise. He said not to worry too much about the past or the future, but to focus on what's happening right now. This tells us that while it's okay to think about what's coming, we should really pay attention to the present. That's where we make the choices that shape what's next in our everyday life. This means making goals, but being okay with new chances and changes. It's about planning, but also being ready to change those plans as we go. Being flexible. Like this is a big part of being happy and peaceful. As we go through these ideas, it's really important to keep watching this video to the end. You'll learn a lot about how living in the moment can change your life for the better. And if you're finding these thoughts helpful, please click like and subscribe to our channel. Your support means we can keep sharing great teachings like this with you. Next up, we'll take a look at another amazing piece of Buddhist wisdom that can change the way we see and live our lives. 7. Refrain from 7. Refrain from discussing doubts and uncertainties. discussing doubts and uncertainties in our journey through Buddhist teachings, we find a really important idea. Sometimes it's better to keep our worries, doubts to ourselves. We live in a time where people often share everything they're thinking, but Buddhism offers a different, thoughtful way of handling our uncertainties. Buddhism helps us understand that life is full of things we can't be sure about. Feeling unsure is normal, but if we talk about our doubts all the time, they might start to seem bigger and more worrying than they really are. It might even make the people we're talking to feel unsure too. By keeping our doubts to ourselves, we give ourselves a chance to think them through and find some clarity on our own. Often when we share our worries, we're looking for others to tell us it's going to be okay. But the truth is, the best understanding and confidence usually come from within ourselves. Buddhism teaches us to look inside and quietly think about our doubts. When we do this, we can really understand our feelings and find our own answers. Let's think about a time when you weren't sure about something. Did telling lots of people about it make things clearer? Or did it sometimes make it more confusing? Buddhism suggests that there's strength in quietly thinking about our worries. This lets us naturally find the answers we're looking for. This doesn't mean we should never ask for advice. It's just about trying to understand our feelings and thoughts on our own. First, sometimes we might find that we already know the answers to our questions. Buddha believed that everyone has their own wisdom inside them. He thought that we can understand our own lives and paths. This idea tells us that we know more than we might think we do in our everyday lives. We can use this teaching by taking some quiet time to think about what's worrying us instead of quickly telling others. We can reflect on our doubts. Maybe meditate a little and listen to our own thoughts. This helps us get to know ourselves better and understand our own journey in life. Thinking about our uncertainties by ourselves also helps us grow. It teaches us to be patient and to value deep thinking. We learn to trust our own abilities to deal with life's unknowns as we keep going on this path. Remember how important it is to watch this whole video. You'll get a much better understanding of how dealing with doubts and uncertainties can change your life up next. We'll explore another piece of Buddhist wisdom that shows us a special way to think about and handle our doubts and uncertainties. 8. Avoid 8. Avoid gossip and unnecessary discussions about others. Gossip and unnecessary discussions about others in our exploration of Buddhist teachings. There's a really important idea we come across. It's best to stay away from gossip and talking too much about other people. This can be tough in a world where gossip is so common, but Buddhism offers a peaceful and kind way to handle our conversation. Buddhism tells us that our words have a lot of power. Every single thing we say can make things better or worse. Gossiping or talking too much about others often leads to hurt feelings and mix-ups. It's not just about the person we're talking about. It's also about filling our own heads with negative thoughts. When we talk about others behind their back, we're missing a lot of the story. We might end up sharing things that aren't true. Or fair Buddhism encourages us to think before we speak. Is what we're going to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If not, it might be better to not say it at all. Gossiping can also change how people see us. They might start to wonder if we talk about them too. When they're not around, this can harm our friendships and relationships. By not gossiping, we build trust and respect with the people in our lives. Buddhism also teaches us to be empathetic, to think about how we'd feel if someone said the same about us. This helps us be more caring and understanding. Buddha taught a lot about speaking in a way that's good and true. He said that using kind and honest words helps us and others find peace. When we avoid gossip, we're following this idea. We're choosing words that bring people closer, not words that could push them apart in our day-to-day lives. We can practice this by focusing on happy and positive talks when we're with friends or family. We can chat about things we like, share good news, or talk about stuff we're excited about. This makes everyone feel more positive. Sometimes we might want to gossip because we're bored or we want to fit in, but Buddhism shows us a better way to connect. We can talk to people about their hobbies, share our own, or do fun things together. This builds real friendships based on what we have in common. By staying away from gossip, we also give ourselves more time to focus on important things. We we can learn new stuff, help others, or work on our own dreams. This makes our life more interesting and happy as we keep going through these Buddhist lessons. Remember how much you can learn by watching this video to the end. You'll understand better how staying away from gossip can change your life and your relationships for the better. If you're finding these tips helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our Wisdom and Real Life channel. Your support means we can share more great lessons like this with more people. Next, we're going to look at another great Buddhist teaching that can really help us with the way we talk and connect with others. Value 9. Value your moments of solitude. Your moments of solitude in this part of our journey. Through Buddhist teachings, we find a really comforting lesson, the importance of spending time alone, which we call solitude nowadays with our phones and busy lives. It can seem hard or not that important to find time just for ourselves, but Buddhism shows us that being alone can be really valuable. Being alone isn't about feeling lonely. It's a chance for us to think, understand ourselves, and grow. Buddhism says it's important to know ourselves well, and when we're alone, we can do just that without others around. We can really listen to our own thoughts and feelings. These quiet times are when we can deeply connect with ourselves. We can think about our life, the choices we've made, and what we really want. It's a break from what everyone else expects or thinks, and it's a chance to find out what we truly desire and dream about. Also, being alone lets us recharge. We're often around so many people and so busy doing things. All this can be tiring. When we're alone, we can relax and just be. It's like a quiet break where we don't have to do anything for anyone else. Buddhism talks a lot about being mindful and living in the moment when we're by ourselves. It's easier to practice this. We can notice our thoughts and feelings without worrying about them. Learn to enjoy our own company and find joy. In simple things, being alone can also make us more creative when we're not filled with other people's ideas. Our own creativity can really shine. We might think of new ideas, find different solutions to problems, or discover more about our creative side. Buddha taught about finding peace inside ourselves. Time alone helps with this. In the quiet, we can meditate, think, and find a calm that stays with us. Even when we're back in our normal busy lives, we can find little moments for ourselves in our daily life. Maybe it's a quiet few minutes in the morning, a short walk by ourselves, or sitting quietly without any distractions. These moments can be really powerful and refreshing as we keep exploring these Buddhist lessons. It's really important to watch this whole video. You'll understand so much more about why time alone is good and how it can change your life. Up next, we'll explore another great teaching from Buddhism that can really help us in how we live and enjoy our lives. 10. Don't discuss lessons you haven't. 10. Don't discuss lessons you haven't fully learned in this part of our exploration of Buddhist wisdom. We come across an interesting and important idea. It's best not to talk too much about things we're still learning in today's world, where everyone likes to share their thoughts and experiences quickly. Buddhism offers a thoughtful approach, asking us to wait until we really understand something before we start talking about it. Buddhism tells us that really understanding something takes time. When we talk about things we're still trying to understand, we might share information that's not quite right. It's a bit like trying to teach someone a game that we don't fully know how to play ourselves. This way of learning and sharing is about being honest. It's saying, I'm still learning this, and that's okay when we wait until we really get something before we share it. We make sure that what we say is helpful and correct. Let's think back to when you were learning something new in the beginning. It might have been confusing if you tried to explain it to someone else too. Soon you might have found out later there was more to learn. Buddhism teaches us to be patient while we're learning. It says we should really understand something well before we talk about it a lot in our everyday lives. This means it's good to keep learning and growing. Saying, I'm still learning about this is a great thing. This honesty builds trust with others. They know that when we do share something, it's because we really know it. Buddhism also shows us that true understanding often comes from our own experiences, not just from what we read or hear. When we've really experienced something, we understand it in a deeper way. And when we share it, it's not just facts. It's part of our own story. Being careful about what we share also keeps us from pretending to know more than we do. This keeps us real and focused on what we're learning. It stops us from giving advice that might not be the best. Another part of this teaching is about enjoying learning, and we don't rush to share. We give ourselves time to really get into a subject, explore it, and have fun with it. This makes learning more interesting and meaningful. As we go through these ideas, remember how much you can learn by watching this whole video. You'll understand better how being patient with what we're learning can make our lives and conversations richer. If you like what you're learning, don't forget to click like and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you lessons like this. Coming up, we're going to talk about another great piece of Buddhist wisdom that can really help us in how we learn and share knowledge. 11. Guard your deepest plans. Guard your deepest plans and intentions. As we wrap up our journey through Buddhist wisdom, we reach a really important lesson. It's a good idea to keep our biggest plans and dreams close to our heart today, where sharing everything is common. Buddhism teaches us a different way, a more thoughtful way. Buddhism helps us see that our personal journey is very special. Our big plans and dreams guide us. They're like a map for our lives when we keep them to ourselves. We protect them from too much outside talk that might make us doubt or change them in ways we don't really want. Sharing our deepest plans with everyone can mean lots of different opinions, while some advice is good. Too much can change our original ideas. Keeping our plans to ourselves lets us stay true to what we really want and develop them in our own time. By not talking too much about our deepest goals, we also keep a part of our life private. This means we can change and grow our plans as we learn new things without feeling stuck to what we've already said. Buddhism tells us about looking inside ourselves and trusting ourselves. When we keep our deepest plans inside, we rely more on our own thoughts and feelings. This helps us grow and learn a lot about ourselves. Think about something you really want to do or achieve. There's power and clarity in thinking about this goal by yourself, letting it grow inside you before you tell the world. This time you spend thinking and planning quietly is really valuable. Buddha taught that we often find the best answers inside ourselves by keeping our plans close to our heart. We give ourselves a chance to hear our inner voice and find our inner strength in everyday life. This means we choose carefully what we share and who we share it with. It's about finding a balance. We can talk about some ideas or goals, but the heart of our plans can stay private. This private space is like a safe place for our dreams. As we end this series of lessons, remember how much you can learn by watching this whole video. You'll understand better how keeping your deepest plans private can change how you approach life and personal growth. Finally, as we close, think about all the lessons we've talked about. How can each one help you in your life? Think about how they can bring you closer to peace, understanding, and happiness. Conclusion. As we come to the conclusion close of our series on Buddhist teachings, let's take some time to think about all the things we've learned. We've gone through a lot of different ideas, each one showing us a way to live a happier and more peaceful life. We started by talking about how we should be careful with our words. Buddhism tells us that being kind and honest when we speak is really important. We learned that not talking about certain things like gossip or constantly complaining can actually make us feel better and get along better with others. Each lesson we've gone through, from enjoying time by ourselves to keeping our big dreams and plans a bit private, helps us learn more about who we are. These teachings show us that being aware of what we say and do, and taking time to understand ourselves, can lead to a really good life. We've talked about how to handle talking about our achievements, how to deal with our doubts, and why it's good to take some quiet time just for ourselves. All these lessons help us see life in a new way. They teach us to be kinder to ourselves and to the people around us. As we end this series, maybe you found some new ideas that you want to try, or maybe you've learned a different way to look at things that are happening in your life. Learning and growing is something that never stops every single day. It's a chance to use these lessons and make our lives a bit better. I really hope these Buddhist lessons have given you something to think about. Maybe they've even inspired you to make some small changes in how you talk or how you think about things. If you like these lessons, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our Wisdom and Real Life channel. Your likes and subscribes help us keep bringing you more helpful and inspiring content. Remember, these teachings are something you can think about and use every day. It's amazing how small things like the words we choose or a few quiet moments can make a big difference in how we feel and how we live. Thank you so much for joining us in this journey through Buddhist wisdom. It's been great exploring these ideas together as we go on with our lives. Let's keep these lessons in mind. They can be a guide for us, helping us find peace, understanding, and joy in the little things we do each day.